Hello and welcome to another edition of On Our Terms, a video series by AIA Contract Documents. In this video, we're going to be talking about the use of capitalized terms in the AIA contract documents. My name is Mike Koger and I'm joined by my colleague Jimmy Germano. We're both staff attorneys with the AIA in Washington, D.C., and we work in the Contract Documents Department. As always, we can't give legal advice in this video, and nothing you hear in this video is a substitute for consulting with an attorney who is licensed in your jurisdiction who can talk with you about the specific issues that you are facing. And with that, Jimmy, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Mike. So as Mike said, today we're going to be talking about capitalization. It's not a very dense topic. As you can see, it's one sentence from the A201. It's on your screen, but it is very important. Section 1.3 of the A201-2017 talks about the capitalization of certain words throughout the document. So as you can see, terms capitalized in these general conditions, meaning the A201 document, include those that are specifically defined, the titles of numbered articles, or the titles of other documents published by the American Institute of Architects. So you may have been working through one of the AIA documents or any contract really, and you'll notice that some terms are capitalized and some aren't. And I know in grammar school we all learned that you have to capitalize like, proper nouns and things like that, but when you're working through a contract like this, you'll see a word that otherwise might not necessarily need to be capitalized, like the term work, for example, but it does have a capital W. And it's important to understand why those terms are capitalized and how those terms are used throughout the document. So if a term is specifically defined, if it is a defined term and it has a defined meaning in the contract documents, then that term is going to be capitalized. If it's the title of an article, this is subsection 2 on your screen, if it's the title of a numbered article, so if referring to section 1.3 capitalization, for example, that's going to be capitalized. And then if you're looking at a title of another document published by the AIA, so the G701, for example, if we're talking about change orders, a change order form, or the reference to the digital documents, for example, those are going to be capitalized because it is a reference to a specific other document. Mike, did I miss anything?
Yeah, I got a question for you, Jimmy. We've got, if you look at our documents, there are a ton of capitalized letters or words, throughout the documents. Can you give us just a kind of a common example of one phrase or word that we capitalize often?
Sure. Yeah. So I did a workup here of the change order clause. So you can kind of see how this works. So on your screen is section 7.2 of the A201. It's the change order provision. And again, it's not that long. And if you're not looking for, this capitalization issue, you might just kind of gloss over it, but you'll start to realize there are a lot of capitalized terms in just this one sentence, because it's really just a sentence that's broken down into 3 subparts. And you have to figure out why each of those clauses are capitalized. And so how you do that is you look for all of the cross-references elsewhere in the A201, which I've done here on the screen. And as you can see, it can get complicated very quickly. So 7.2 change orders is the title, so of course that's capitalized. And then we're defining change order, so a change order is a written instrument prepared by the architect. And then you have to look to section 4.1.1 for the definition of architect. And signed by the owner, and again you look to section 2.1.1 for the definition of owner. Contractor, section 3.1.1. And the architect, which we've already referenced in 4.1.1, stating their agreement upon all the following: a change in the work, and again, work is defined. I kind of referenced that a little bit earlier in 1.1.3. The amount of the adjustment, if any, in the contract sum, which is a defined term, so that's going to be in section 9.1.1, and the extent of the adjustment, if any, in the contract time, which is defined in 8.1.1. So again, a relatively simple clause here that when you start to look at all of the capitalization within it, it can become very complicated very quickly, which is why it's important to understand why certain terms are capitalized and some aren't. Does that kind of answer your question, Mike?
Absolutely. That's I think that's a great graphic and it also kind of underscores what we said at the very beginning of this video is, it's helpful to have attorneys help you look over your contract issues because there are a whole lot of things that get pulled into one, seemingly simple sentence here.
Sure, and it even gets more complicated if you start to look in some of these definitions, and I wasn't going to go there, but each of the definitions can be broken down further because all of them have defined terms within them. So you can do this to each of those definitions and get very complicated very quickly.
Excellent. Thank you all for joining this video. If you want to learn more about AIA contracts, you can go to our Learn page on our website. That's aiacontracts.org/learn. If you have questions about our contracts, you can email us or contact us at our docinfo service. The email address is docinfo@aiacontracts.org. Also, if you like this video and you want to find and listen to other videos that are similar to it, find us at AIA Contract Documents on YouTube. Thank you very much.